I did want to bring up career opportunities.
We do have to talk about career opportunities before somebody hears us. It's true. It's true. I never met John Hughes. He, as far as I know, he wasn't on that set when I was. I would have known if I met him. But I'd also count it as maybe one of the. It was one of the last ones.
Yeah.
It was certainly the biggest mashup that he ever threw together. John Hughes, I mean, so many of his films made sense, but not career opportunities. Not really. It's like, it's such a weird movie. That being said, people love it, and it's growing still. It got refound. As far as I'm concerned, it also launched 2 other character sets. You'd have to check me on this for the chronology. But the Pesci-Stern combo in Home Alone is based on Gil and Nestor. So our Farrelly brothers were assistant editors on Career Opportunities, and they saw 2 dummies trying to break into a Target store, played by me and my brother, Kieran. And they went on to make Dumb and Dumber. So you tell me, people, you tell me about dumb guys in movies and who came first.
More career opportunities came out of career opportunities.
For them,
Yeah.
believe me, I never got a job from Career Opportunities. What was up with that shave? Those gloves.
The Thing Called Love in 1993.
Not a wedding movie.
Not a wedding movie, but there's a romantic
Solid
element.
rom-com. It's the best love triangle movie I was ever in. Until New Girl.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like Samantha
That's
Mathis,
a different kind of love triangle.
River Phoenix, I mean that, Nashville,
Yeah.
songwriters, music element of it all, that must have been so fun.
It was. Sandra Bullock's in that movie too, and Peter Bogdanovich directed it. So it was a life-altering film for me, yeah, I could tell you about every minute of that movie. I remember everything about it. It was tough to make, but absolutely brilliant experience. And that movie too is beloved. So the people who originally saw it are diehard on that movie. A lot of young women, of course, because she played Miranda Presley. She was going to take Nashville by storm. This is Samantha Mathis, of course, our beloved star. And gosh, it really hooked people. River also, that factor's incalculable. But it's back too, and it's growing again. This is thanks to the evil streamers. This is happening to great movies that I was in. So this was coming back. It's taking more space again. People are reliving it now that they're grown women. It has an incredible core fan group, mainly female, and here's to you guys.
Yeah.
Amazing to be on that movie from the start.
How does it feel to sort of have that, these movies are sort of making a resurgence, being found, and sort of people discovering them and loving them, a new generation. That's kind of an amazing feeling.
It is an amazing feeling that wouldn't have happened because what was it? We can't rewrite the history, but that movie would have been shown, once every 3 years on TV rerun, or it'd be shown in a revival movie house. But since everybody can watch anything all the time, forever now, it really caused a lot of these films to behave in unexpected ways.
We got to talk about My Best Friend's Wedding, probably your biggest romance.
Mine?
But I would argue The Family Stone is probably my favorite.
Okay, we can get back to your favorite later. But let's talk about everyone's favorite rom-com. It's not just mine.
The world.
It is. Name another one. Harry Met Sally. Who Called Who, My Mail, or whatever. What are those dumb movies with Tom Hanks?
This is the quintessential wedding movie, I feel like.
So it's a rom-com and a wedding movie. It's got the double whammy that we're looking for here today. But it's never been surpassed. Right, so those movies, maybe the Reiner movies leading up to P.J. Hogan directing My Best Friend's Wedding, led up to that. Now tell me since, who's come close. Oh, I will. I'll tell you who came close. And now it's like snapping at the heels of My Best Friend's Wedding. The Wedding Date. You want to get talking about Family Stone and how much you like it. And how it's also still a rom-com.
It is. It absolutely is.
Okay, everybody agrees, but why is the Family Stone so painful? New York Times did about 10-page spread on this last Christmas. 20 years, 18 years after we made the movie. They're still crying. They're still writing articles. Why are we crying? Why do we make ourselves go through this pain to watch The Family Stone every year? But everyone does. And so I watched The Family Stone start to finish, and it's a brilliant movie. It's a brilliant movie. It's perfect. Tom Bazooka made it, and he didn't make a single mistake. So there's not a cut that's off. There's not a color that's off. He designed it. He designed the wardrobe with, oh gosh, I wish I could pull her name. I can't quite. But a wonderful designer I worked with several times. IMDb, somebody get that real quick. But built the set, designed the set, wrote the movie, and directed it. This is Tom Bazooka, so it's rare that it happens that well by one person. That really was the center reason. And he put together a perfect cast to play adult siblings. This movie is different too because adult siblings are watching it now, or especially people who have bigger families, right? We get that part, but there aren't that many movies where you have brothers and a sister or two interacting, like 40 plus age, right?
Yeah.
It's either your kids or the parent story with kids, that, you know? So it's a really unique movie. And then, I'll tell you this, you watch it after one of your parents dies.
Oh. What was it like, working with Deborah Messing, The Wedding Date? That must have just been such another wedding movie.
Yeah, the ones that have it in the title, they're easy. It's easy to figure out that they're wedding movies. That was an amazing experience too, in London City, but also out in the countryside. They capture really beautiful, beautiful lifestyle. I caught a little bit of it the day we were shooting the dance practice scene, where we're kind of squabbling on the dance floor. It was about 110 in London, and I don't know, maybe it's different now that temperatures are rising. Maybe London's figured out their air conditioning situation, but back in 2000, maybe 3 or 4 when we shot that, oh my God, was it hot. So they're using a hair dryer to dry off my shirt in between takes. So that's kind of what I remembered about it, but then I saw it on TV the other night and I stayed for that scene, and it's fantastic. It's so beautiful, and Deborah's so beautiful, and they use slow motion, and I step on her foot or whatever. It's really lovely. And Jack and Amy Adams, Jack Davenport, also beautiful. They cut to them for a laugh, and Sarah Parrish dancing alone. It's just a great scene in a rom-com wedding movie.
Yes.
Wedding Date also has benefited from being on streamers, and see, movies like this are a thing that we didn't used to have. Even when we made The Wedding Date, we didn't have comfort movies. That's a new thing, you guys, you kids. Because you can watch something over and over again, that developed, and then it became a thing, and then they gave it a word, comfort movies, right? Comfort watching. But we never had that. So that one is a big comfort viewing movie.
What's the biggest, that you get from fans or whoever, that's the biggest comfort movie of your sort of repertoire, your career?
Well, it's funny. Best Friend's Wedding doesn't play quite that same way, but the Wedding Date really, really, really does. It really does. And so then those quotes and stuff rose, and then they hit TikTok and virality.
Yeah.
Which it never would have happened. That never would have happened. The people who saw it originally would have loved that movie and thought about it forever, and then again, go back to old school. They'd catch it on TV once every 3 years, and that'd be it. Maybe they'd rent the VHS. I know. The future happened. But when we made that movie, those were the given circumstances.
Yeah.
Yeah, so viewership has changed so much, and it brought back so many of these films. I never saw that coming. We're up to 6 wedding movies, 4 love triangles, and tons of rom-coms. Go on.
Let's go back to 2002, because we've got to talk about Schmidt, another wedding movie.
Wedding movie. I couldn't believe I was getting cast. I auditioned a number of times, count them, 4. Alexander Payne. But so I didn't even know if I was getting that part. Hope Davis attests to the same, and then he made the perfect pairing of like two nerds, and the nightmarish soon-to-be son-in-law to Jack Nicholson. So it's just a brilliant movie. I'd say it's one of the funniest movies I was in, and it doesn't have a punchline in it. So you may be watching for a while going, gosh, what is this movie? It's kind of humorous. Before you know it, it's screamingly hilarious. The way it introduces its sense of humor, the pace at which you discover how funny it is, you can't beat it for that.
Yeah.
For the type of comedy. It's so unique, and that's Alexander and Jim who wrote it.
We need to talk about your feature directorial debut, Love, Wedding, Marriage.
Okay, so now you got me. Now we're even.
Yeah.
Yeah, because sorry about that one. Did you ever watch it?
I like it.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
I never met anybody who saw it. So to bring us up to the present, that movie was not called anything with wedding in the title.
Okay.
It's called Love, Wedding, Marriage, I think. Mm-hmm. And we had the great fortune to get Mandy Moore in the lead. But she hadn't done This Is Us yet. That's what I mean. So it was a downtime in my career. I won't speak for Mandy, but I needed a good job. Somebody said, why don't you direct? I thought, okay, I'll do it. And, a year and a half later, I'm like, and didn't have control over this and that, and then the producers, So it didn't become the movie that I thought it might be. Let's put it that way. Yeah, and he never directed again.
Have you thought about it?
I'd love to direct again. I like directing. I'd even venture to say, other than the one movie I directed, Love, Wedding, Marriage, I'm a good director. But it takes a lot of time. Acting's a little better business for me. Just as a business. I'd have to jump out of what I do to make that dream get your movie done thing. And I've almost done that a number of times. So I'm not saying it's over, but it would really be jumping the track. So let's say put one in the wedding column there and one in the love triangle column. This love triangle though is unique, of course, because it's a guy who loves a girl and a well-established guy that's loving on the girl, and then the straight guy who just loves the other straight guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what makes it funny.
New girl, Russell.
I was in the first season of a hot new show on Fox. I got a call, what? Come in? So I jumped at it. I hadn't done a sitcom in years, and again, maybe this is around that same time as directing that movie. I could use a really good job, so I thought, a couple episodes of a sitcom, sure. That doesn't make anybody rich, but I needed the job. Little did I know that it was going to become this incredibly iconic part too. I'll say this because I play Russell. I can almost get his last name.
Schiller.
Russell Schiller. Checked her notes. She did do a little research. I play Russell Schiller, but they call him the Fancy Man. When I read the script, I thought, Fancy Man? I don't want to play a guy named Fancy Man. I want to, be a tough guy or whatever still. How wrong was I? Somewhere on earth right now, somebody's saying those two words, Fancy Man, together because of that part. Mm-hmm. It became this incredible thing. And for me, now I've seen a lot of New Girl, or I'll catch part of an episode. I couldn't agree with you more. It is so funny. But I didn't know that in that first season. I just thought it was Zoe. Of course, we loved her already. So I just jumped right in and it became what it is. I didn't know it was that. I was just really grateful. First 30 seconds on that set, I knew I was with geniuses, though. That I know how to tell. Who you're with and gauge that real quick. And I was like, oh, make sure, just do nothing. Just do nothing and you'll be fine. And then that character plays great like that. Mm-hmm. And I took a lot from those actors. I took a lot from them. Zoe in particular, just like how to do it. Yes. I'm just gleaning it. And there's some actually literally help that I'm grateful for because they knew precisely what they're doing. She had this whole tone dialed in. Mm-hmm. So then I'm just trying to pull that together, and it stands a test of time for sure. And then again, streamers just made it blow up. And now the young 20s group, that about 8 years ago watched it their whole high school career, every night, comfort viewing. Now they're coming to a certain age, so I get to watch this like in life cycles. I have a couple of nods from people who aren't in their early 20s anymore, but binged out on New Girl a couple of years ago. So you guys know all the lines, all that. This sweater, I only fold it. I would never hang it.
And you and Zoe had such a great chemistry. It was different than what she had with Jake, but like it was such a very cool and refreshing new romance for her.
Oh, so cool to know. There too, I give all of that compliment to Zoe because she knew the whole concept of this show, even in those early episodes. So I'm in like 3 or 4 episodes of the first season, maybe the middle of it. Oh, did that happen to be when New Girl got its lifetime best ratings on television? Yeah, it was. So that happened. But again, I didn't know that Russell was going to stand out at the end run of all the other boyfriends he tries out, because that was first season.
Yeah.
I had 1 episode in the second season. They find me at dinner with another date. That complicates them for some. And then my agent called the next, like, hey, when do you want Dermot again? They're like, no, season 4, call back. Anytime. Dermot loved working with you on the show. Blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh, well, you know, like 2 years ago, I said, just stop calling. Stop calling, Scott. Season 6, silence. Season 7, guess what? My New Girl phone finally rang. I'm like, hello? They're like, we're desperate to figure out how to end this. We can't think of anything except having you on the show to finalize things.
Yep.
So I went 4 long years, without hearing nothing, dick all, from the New Girl.
Dermot's the closer.
But they needed the close. That's right.
Christmas is canceled, a holiday rom-com.
Now we're talking. And I'll say this, people missed Christmas is Canceled. It's one of those this is like there's a drain in the streamers, and sometimes they just go away and you never see them. Christmas is Canceled is by far not a perfect movie, but we loved making it with Haley Arantia and Janelle Parrish, where I play like a way too old dad romance with my daughter's ex-high school nemesis. Did I get it right? At Christmas time. So we all try to have a Christmas together, and it goes okay. But thanks for asking about that. We worked really hard on it and wanted to make a super funny movie, and instead I think we made a funny movie.
Let's end on Anyone But You. Loved it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yes.
What a combination. Glenn Powell, Rachel Griffiths, Sydney Sweeney.
Yes.
Must have been just such a blast. Like, filming in Australia, like, it gave us a little bit of a rom-com renaissance.
Just tell you that we had the most amazing time working in Sydney, Australia. And Sydney Sweeney and Glenn, both of them just such down-home people, and they brought the whole cast together. We did everything together on the weekends, adventures, Airbnb up in the mountain. We all literally, took different rooms and had an amazing night out of the city. I'll never forget it. I don't think there's a little love triangle in there, but not with me so much. Except I would add this. I really loved Jonathan. I thought Jonathan was perfect for her. Perfect. And, it had a little bit of that Nick Russell feel where I just really admired him as a young man. I felt like I brought him up pretty good. The idea is that he was like in the neighborhood or whatever, and they used to go together, and so
your Team Jonathan?
And Rachel, who of course is just that Venn crossover with My Best Friend's Wedding, where she played the crazy cousin from Texas with Carrie Preston. What else do you want to know?
So you're Team Jonathan?
Oh, I'm Team Jonathan all the way. Except Glenn's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
As a romance movie boyfriend, do you feel like you were passing the baton to him?
I do, and I did, and we made like such a big point about that in the press kit that then I got stuck up. What did I got caught out saying that that the poster of my best friend's wedding was like the downfall of my career. This is what that wound up becoming for me. I had some quote making a joke about how I'm just the wedding cake guy, me and Cameron. She's got a big, a big face on the. So I never thought that. I was using that as kind of an apologia for flat out saying to Glenn. I was like being humble about it. So F that. Here's how it went. I said, Glenn, take this part seriously. I know you're gonna go do Twisters and you got all that and et cetera. You'll do tough guy movies, no problem. These are gonna come by less frequently and they're gonna mean more to people. So you gotta give it everything. You gotta fall in love on screen in this movie, and then you'll represent love on screen the way that I have had the privilege to do for people. It's got so little to do with me. It just really has to do with love and that part in these movies. So that's what I said to Glenn. And then Glenn took it and was so graceful about it and so grateful and kept citing me over and over again in such a gentlemanly way, but that's because he's brought up, right? And he's a good guy. I take back the and so that's how that, because I learned, and I didn't know it when I made my best friend's wedding, and I knew it after the coming on 30 years, right? How meaningful and how everlasting and how it'll be 100 years and they'll still be watching these movies.